Race TV's LA's weekly recap of Drag Race Down Under Season 1, Episode 2, Snatch Game. Stay tuned as we discuss the drama, fashion, and fun of this week's episode. And if you want to talk Drag Race, you've come to the right place. Hello, everybody. It is your hosts, Lorayne Love and Ollie Drennan from Drag Race TV. Say hello, Ollie.
Hey, coming from not under you, but down under.
From down under, right. It's like 8 a.m. in Sydney, I think. I can't imagine we probably have a ton of people watching in Sydney. But if you are, please comment in the chat room because we would love to know if you're watching in Australia. Because I'm learning so much about Australia. I actually am really enjoying the show and learning so much about the country and the culture and New Zealand as well. You guys, we are broadcasting live today on YouTube as usual, but also on Twitch. Hopefully it's working. We're now available on Twitch. So be sure to, if you have a Twitch account, follow us and stuff. I'm not even really sure, to be honest with you, how Twitch works. Ollie's probably better at it.
Barely.
And I actually think I am broadcasting live from my Facebook page as well. So my family and friends back home in Ohio are probably like, what is going on with this drag queen on a Monday? But hey, whatever. Girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. Make sure you guys are following us on all social media. You can find us at DRTVLA on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. If you have that, follow us there. So, Ollie, what did you think of the episode?
A lot happened. I don't watch it right when it comes out, but I started seeing some tweets. Mm-hmm. I don't go into spoilers, but I already heard that there was a gag that's going to be happening. And it was quite a gag. It shook me for real. And I actually enjoyed the gag because I like it that this particular season so far it's only 2 episodes, but it hasn't been predictable. I was shook. I was happy. I didn't agree with everything that happened, but I'm ready to talk all about it with you today, Lorayne.
You know, I was thinking last night when I was just, I'm rewatching these like 4 and 5 times. Like, I'm really enjoying them. Even the ones that I'm not thrilled with, I still have an affinity for. Like, there's still something about them that I like. So I like that about that. That's what I like about these newer seasons and everything. And this one in particular, I'm really having a good time. So, and it's so funny because I keep grabbing the shade button, but I don't even think we would ever need it for this.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe if you're throwing shade at me or I'm throwing shade at you, that would probably be about it. It looks like we do have some people in the YouTube chat. We have C. O'Connor is there, Chucky Chuck, honorary co-host, and honorary co-host for Australia, Magenta Fox out of Ireland. Magenta, what time is it in Ireland? I just was realizing that you're in Ireland watching this, so I'm not sure what time we make you watch this. Thank you to anyone who subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please go. You can click the little icon in the bottom here. I'm not sure what side it's on. when you see this. But down the corner is a little DRTVLA image. You can click on that if you want to subscribe to our channel, and click the bell if you want notifications when we're going live. So be sure to stick around later because we'll be doing Fans of the Week, Quote of the Week, where there's more Monet and Tamisha Iman drama. So we'll discuss all of that later along with some predictions as well. Just as a reminder, last week on Drag Race Down Under was the premiere episode where we got to meet all of the queens from around Australia and New Zealand. The mini challenge was an audition for Thar with Thor director Taika Waititi. Electra Shock won the challenge after being ridiculed the first part of the episode. The maxi challenge was a double runway, Born Naked, and There's No Place Like Home looks. Karen from Finance ended up winning the challenge, and the bottom two were Electra Shock and JoJo Zaho. Unfortunately, JoJo Zaho had to sashay away. Let me start by saying this. I think there's might be like a new segment that I want to start doing, especially with these ones from other countries, where like educate me, you know? When I don't know, have you been going on Twitter, Ollie, and like seeing what people are saying about the episodes or anything?
Not really. I don't see a whole lot of like I mentioned, I see like people saying, oh, it's just gaggy. There's some shade. That's all I really see. Not too much. I don't really delve into Twitter all that much with the show. Maybe I should, but.
Well, only reason I asked is because I did the other day. And I will say this, number one, on Twitter especially, I didn't see a lot of spoilers, which was very nice. I mean, I was just searching hashtag Drag Race Down Under or something like that. So maybe, a different hashtag had more of them. But all the ones I saw didn't have any real spoilers. A lot of them said, like you said, oh, it was so gag. I can't believe this happened. Da, da, da. Well, let me just say, I'm learning that I will say Art Simone she's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. But from what I'm reading is this sense of humor, this kind of attitude that she has is very Australian. Magenta, I think you even attested to that in a past show. They're all saying that Art was robbed of the win last week.
Probably.
So obviously her look, which I didn't really care for, really touched the Australian, New Zealand community more than it did us. So I just think it's interesting how I like reading them because it's making me go, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so hard on them. Maybe I should, be a little more understanding because it isn't my country. Have you noticed any of that?
Yeah, no, I kind of like go into an episode like that as well. Just like same with the UK. Like are you kidding me? Like I don't really know much about the UK at all. So it's like you kind of learn when they explain it on the runway, or if the judges even have something to say when they're going through deliberation. So I definitely attest to that as well.
Yeah. We got some people watching from Italy. I thank you, Franz, from watching from Italy. And it is 11 p.m. where Magenta Fox is watching us. And no, Ken, this is not Raven's wig. I don't know if she even has one like this, but no, this is my wig. But she's welcome to. We have somebody watching from Twitch. Yay! Equestrian 19.
It's Aquarius Stan 19.
Aquarius Stan. Okay, thank you. Aquarius Stan. Sorry, clearly my literary reading skills are not the best, but thank you. Good. That means we're live on Twitch. Yay!
I love it. Also, that's really cool. It shows that they're from Twitch, and also they have their little emotes from Twitch also appear too. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And if somebody is watching from one of my personal friends on my personal Facebook page, if you're watching, write a comment because I want to see if that comes through to us too, that we can see those. This is fun, right, Ollie? I'm loving
that.
Here we go. There's our hello from Twitch. I'll pop some of these up there. Hey, Chucky Chuck. And then what do we got here is couldn't find the channel on Twitch. Oh, it's DRTVLA on Twitch. same as our social media and everything. I don't think it's because I think I tried to write Drag Race TVLA and it wouldn't let me, so I just did DRTVLA. So that's where you should be able to find us. All right. So then another thing that I learned is Kiwi. Did you catch this? Kiwi is what Aussies call people from New Zealand. So I like that. I like that I learned that. And then this episode, at the beginning of the episode, we learned about doing a shoey. Ollie, have you ever done a shoey?
Not that I was sober enough to remember, but I might have. I might have in WeHo. It's been so long, Lorayne, since we've been out. Or at least for me, I haven't been in WeHo in a while. So maybe I did when I was blacked out. Maybe you were there. Maybe you weren't. But yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do one. Like maybe I need to be a little bit more buzzed to do like a shot or something like that. But I'm down. Never say never.
Yeah. I that was funny. Again, I love all other cultures. I love traveling the world. So for me, I'm really enjoying these little bits and pieces. And even when I rewatch the episodes, I pick up things that I didn't see necessarily or catch on to the first time. So thank you to everybody. Anybody who is Aussie and on social media, write all those things in there for us stupid Americans who don't know what any of this means, because I'm enjoying it. And we have our honorary Aussie Magenta Fox with us usually that we can pick her brain too. So after the elimination, Art even said she thought she deserved the win. And she also seemed to take it kind of hard that Karen won that first challenge. Art even said she felt like she has the best looks. I say this all the time. A good look is a good look, but there's got to be a little bit more than just a well-made costume and great makeup. So, do you think Art should have won, or do you think Karen deserved the win?
I think Karen deserved the win for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember last week I loved Art's looks as well, but as we saw in this episode, it's funny that she actually ended up doing pretty bad. We'll talk about it, but it was just funny how it all happened, because then like when she was she wasn't trying to be funny, but with the whole Rue thing, she was really funny with Rue in the workroom, and then comes the actual Snatch game. So it was really funny how things played out in the end for her. Yeah. It was a huge, humbling experience, I'm sure. And it honestly gave me like UK season 2 vibes a little bit remember when Joe Black was sent home first? Yeah. And that was like, it shook everyone. So I think that's why everyone was so gagged. It gave us like, ooh, this is really setting the tone as the episodes progress.
Well, and I've said this before too, is like, as much as the show sometimes really wants a particular queen to win, isn't it much better TV to just do it organically? Like if she was the worst and she deserved to be in the bottom and she doesn't win the lip sync, she goes home. You come back for All Stars, get a second chance. Like, I just think it makes I get it. It's, you want to be produced because you want to kind of know what's happening. But at the same time, there's just something about that happening naturally that you got to enjoy.
And it's so funny that you say that, because I thought I was like, she's in my top 4. Like, she's going to go far. One, because of her looks, but also kind of going against the organic thing. I'm just so used to like the queens that bring the drama going far, Yeah. So now that's been like, we've got the rug swept out from under us, down under. It's just like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's refreshing. And that's why I was shocked. I was a little disappointed, but I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's go to episode 3. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Ken makes a good point too, that he thinks maybe that the reason that we're liking the other ones better is because it's a different culture and it makes it more interesting. Like, you're learning something new. Like if you're watching the American version, like we know all that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's a good point. It could
also, I agree. I think the American ones are a little bit more, as you mentioned, produced.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What does this say here? Sorry, there was another one here. My own My own problem is Rue and Michelle don't really give them time to really teach us. Oh yeah, teach about Aussie and Kiwi drag culture. Yeah. I would, again, well, I always say that I'm all for educating and using the platform to kind of teach people rather than it just be competition.
I am happy so far, like that the queens are, even though it's not a whole lot of time, the queens through their confessionals, they are kind of giving us the Aussie and the Kiwi drag culture a little bit through some of their confessionals. It's not a whole lot of time, but it's like, I do wish that we would have more of that a little bit. Because I don't know, like my only critique of this season so far is that it seems a little rushed. I don't know if you get that at all. Yeah. It just seems something just feels a little rushed, but I'm still enjoying it nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. I think because they're trying to get a lot into a little bit of time because it's a first season like that. I mean, it's so funny because we complain when there's not enough, and then we complain when the team gives us too much.
Okay, season 13 is a different thing, though.
We're never happy bitches. Let's just say that we're always gonna have something to complain about. Whatever. And then Chuck agreed. He said if it's a queen that you think is gonna win, but they bomb, let them lip sync and see what happens. And if they go home, they go home. So they're with us with that. And Magenta Fox agrees with you as well, with what you were just saying. So,
thank you, Magenta.
Yeah. So then the next day, I saw a lot of conversation about this on social media as well. People were not like, they finally got Kylie Minogue and Dannii Minogue on, and it was just okay. This is during COVID, so obviously she can't be there. But I think the video message was cute. She came in during that. She did a part in Snatch Game as well. She had a little video during Snatch Game as well. Kylie did. I think a lot of people's issue too was that you have Kylie Minogue and Dannii Minogue, and then the Lip Sync for Your Life song was not a song from Kylie or Dannii. So we'll get to the song later. But yeah, I know that scene. Were you happy with it?
Yeah, no, you just reminded, I did see that. Before watching the episode. So I was a little bummed about that, especially Kylie, who's such a huge queer icon. Like, Are you kidding? But like, it is COVID. I feel they just shot this too, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, it's the first season. Maybe for season 2, because I'm sure we'll get a season 2. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer. But what you can't, it's COVID, following the guidelines.
Yeah. Looks like we have someone else watching on Twitch. Yay. I'm going to get so excited every time we see somebody on Twitch now. We're going to take over Twitch. Magenta Fox agreed. Also, Ken and Chuck also think that they should have done the same thing with Candy on season 13. Is just, yes, she's great TV, but let her go home. She didn't deserve to stay. She shouldn't have been saved. She should have gone home. Plain and simple. Who is this? Salva says production was rushed and too cheap to afford Kylie or Dannii song. Could be a money issue as well. I don't know that for a fact. That is purely a viewer comment. That is not a fact necessarily. So there was no mini challenge this week. We went right into episode 2, Snatch Game. Were you gagged, Ollie?
I was gagged, and I wanted to be gagged more. I was really happy because I think I said this already. I love that they do Snatch Game early. We can see the queens. Obviously, it sucks that JoJo wasn't able to do it, but it's the perfect number too. Like 9. There's 9 queens left. I think that's usually when they do Snatch Game, or maybe 8, whatever. But I was so excited, especially like learning other queens picking like characters that I'm unfamiliar with. You know, because it's obviously down under. We're going to be doing people also from Australia and also New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Magenta Fox says that Danny's song would have been cheap as piss.
Shade button.
There it is.
See, the chat, that's where we're going to get the shade.
That's where we'll get it, yeah. And then Kylie would be perfect for Down Under and UK because she's a huge in both countries. That's true. So she could come back. I mean, people have come back. People have done, both, multiple episodes and stuff like that. So, all right. So preparing for Snatch Game, there was a slight little bump in the road because Art and Scarlett wanted to do Bindi Irwin, and Art ended up winning out because Scarlett had a backup of Jennifer Coolidge.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Art should have gone with another child.
Ooh,
You look like you have an opinion, Ollie.
Art's answers in Snatch Game were so long-winded. They were longer than the actual season 13 itself. Like, they were just, I was like, girl, get to the point. What is going on? She looked the part. But it's the worst feeling as a viewer, seeing a queen that you want to see do well, look the part, but just bomb it and just not have nothing to work with, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I would rather have Scarlett done it. Like, because we'll get to Scarlett with Jennifer Coolidge. I wasn't too into it. I don't know about you, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get more into the actual performances in a little bit. But it was interesting, to say the least. And then hello from Dallas, Texas. Yay, 11. People are watching us from all over. This is great. Elaine from Dallas also says she thinks that there was no time to develop characters because there were too many people playing Snatch Game. What do you think about that?
I thought it was a good number. I feel like we've even had maybe even more people. I don't know. I think 9 is like a solid number for Snatch Game, personally. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I felt like it was too many. I mean, there were definitely a couple people who I felt like really did a good job. Flubbed, not overall, like not long to last the whole, game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other burning question: do you think, although she was safe, should Keita have done Carole Baskin instead of Dr. Seuss?
I would have much rather have seen Carole Baskin. I know it's just like such a very mainstream choice.
Yeah.
But Dr. Seuss, you saw, like, jumping ahead to the performances, I can't help, but like you saw the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she kind of like was able to like pick it up by the end. But even the first initial question that she answered, I was like, ugh! Like, for that character, you have to rhyme, or she's trying to rhyme every single response. So that takes like huge, like lyricism, I guess, for lack of a better term. That just improv. So if she's good at that, go for it. But to me, like, I would have rather have seen Carole Baskin. I thought that would be more interesting.
I was surprised. I mean, I know. I think if Dr. Seuss was, if she had, had really good, like, I liked how she was doing it. Like, she was making all the responses into, rhymes and stuff. So I thought it was really clever. Once she got going, that first answer was really rough. But I felt like overall she did a good job with it. I'm curious to see how she would have done with Carole Baskin. But she can use it for All Stars.
There you go.
In reference to what you were saying about Art doing Bindi, Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias, I love that name, thinks Art was a little just too over-prepared on facts, not jokes.
Not a joke, just a fact.
Yeah, I love that. Magenta also thinks that Keita should have done Carole Baskin. Mm-hmm. And what about, I think this is always something that kind of comes up too, besides the fact that Dr. Seuss is a little bit harder to do. What is your opinion on what Chucky Chuck is talking about, doing male characters during Snatch Game? Do you think it's a cop-out?
It's funny. I used to think so. I used to really think so because I remember, but then like I feel like Kennedy Davenport, I really liked her Little Richard, and she really dragged it up. So I think like if you could drag it up, like queens have been doing it now. Bendela on All Stars, Thorgy on that same or season 8 did Michael Jackson. So I feel like if as long as you're able to really drag it up and like, I'm also thinking of drag as more so like blurring the lines of gender at all times. So, just make it super over the top, exaggerate it, have fun with it. Then I'm totally fine with it. But if you're just going to come in and be like this super butch, masculine male character, like that I would be like, no, I don't know. Am I making sense?
Totally.
Okay.
I was kind of the same way too. Again, I feel like it's like it depends how the performance goes. You know what I mean? If you're doing it to be a cop out, then no, you shouldn't do it. But Kennedy knocked it out of the ballpark. Like you said, Thorgy did Michael Jackson and she knocked it out of the ballpark. I think it would depend on the character too. Like if it's a really over the top gay guy,
yeah,
drawing these.
Ahura did it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. That's always a kind of a good question. I think
like don't come on and do Tom Cruise and like mask for mask Tom Cruise. That's not going to be fun. But like if you could like it, that's another thing. I feel like Dr. Seuss was a little bit boring. I don't know. Yeah. Not the worst, but I guess I just wanted it a little bit more elevated because I feel like, she was able to recover, but it still felt like she was only thinking about rhyming throughout her entire performance rather than like dragging it up,
Yeah. Chuck agrees with you that drag it up and make it over the top. Yeah.
Thank you.
Salva, I don't know where you're from, Salva, but says as an Australian, tell us where you're from, Salva. As an Australian, I was rather disappointed at how many non-Australian and no Kiwi characters were portrayed, which is what makes Etcetera's choice so subversive. We'll definitely talk more about Etcetera's choice because I have a definite opinion about it. But I guess there weren't. I assumed Dr. Seuss was Australian. That's the only reason. Like I guess I just guessed that they were because they were doing them. I mean, I know Dolly Parton's not, but that's an interesting point. Another suggestion is that they should do shots of tequila before they go on so they can relax.
I would love that.
I know, I would too. And then Ru we only saw Ru visit Anita, Coco, etc., and Art. We didn't see everybody's visit. There seemed to be a really big connection. Like Art seemed to be very like make Ru laugh a lot. And I think the girls kind of were, all, like kind of intimidated, I guess, like thinking they could do really well. And maybe that was just a setup for us as viewers at production. Dick in the Soup, I guess, is what that was. Dr. Seuss reminded me of Something Wong's David Attenborough. That's a good point. There was now no grandeur in the costuming, which took yeah, maybe he could have just done the drag bigger or made Dr. Seuss somehow seem a little more draggy, bedazzle the jacket, wear this blazer instead, I don't know that Dr. Seuss was gay or anything like that. But.
Like take your wig off and reveal like the thing 1, thing 2, like wig, or I don't know,
Yeah. And Chucky Chuck loves you, Ollie.
We love you, Chucky Chuck.
There was also a moment when Ru was talking with Anita when she kind of made it because Anita's so over the top all the time, such a big personality, and Ru was trying to get her to kind of channel that energy other places and kind of bring it down. And I was something that Keita says that kind of stuck with me is that she felt like that from Anita is kind of a coping mechanism for her with just like things that have happened in her life and stuff, which we will also talk about later. Some of her more personal stuff that she talks about in the mirror moments. I as somebody who has studied acting and also has a lot of energy and had to learn how to kind of, especially for, starting off doing stage, doing drag, it's always big, it's over the top, TV and film is the complete opposite. So learning how to kind of hone in that energy and channel it other places, I thought was a good conversation for Ru to have with her. Did that stand out to you too? I mean, it really kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I think maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was wiping dust off my laptop and then mutes myself. Shut up. Silence. Yeah, so maybe that makes sense as to why she is it's I don't want to say she's overcompensating, but she's making life more positive after her traumatic experience with her dad, who was just very unaccepting. And thank goodness for her mom, who was accepting of her.
Right.
So that definitely puts a new perspective of her just in general for me as a viewer, because even last week I was like, she is Utica on steroids. That's literally what I said.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the runway and performances. We can talk about both. We can go through each one. We can talk about their runway and their Snatch Game performance. That way we can talk more about these specific things that we keep saying we're going to get to. All right, so let me grab the first person here. I have all these. Who was first on the runway? Art Simone. Okay, so Art, let me grab her. What did I do with her look? Well, let's talk about her. We already kind of talked a little bit about her performance. Did I not save her look? Go ahead, Ollie. Art Simone, I'm going to try and find the image.
Her performance or her look?
Performance and her runway, and I'll try and find the look as you're talking.
Yeah, I mentioned already, long-winded answers, very unfortunate. I had high expectations. She looked the part. I was excited. But yeah, it just fell flat. But her look, obviously, she never disappoints in the look category. I love the seaweed, kind of creature from the Black Lagoon, but absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
To me, it was one of my favorites of the week by far.
Yeah, I love the webbed fingers. I thought the webbed fingers were really, really cool. And thank you to Draglicious, is where I got the images from. They have a website, draglicious.com, I think it is. I will add the link to the description below. They did a really nice, these images that I used today are from their website. They did a close-up and a far-away look for each of the queens. So thank you, Dragalicious. I'm happy to give you credit because that's always the hardest thing for me to do is find these images of these dresses. So thank you, Dragalicious. I didn't know what to expect. They really set up Art to maybe be the winner, the way it was being set up for the Snatch Game. It was rough. Those answers were just rambling. I mean, looking back, knowing that so many of them were in the bottom and up for elimination, I really felt like the right two people were in the bottom two. Regardless of people's impressions of Art prior to being on the show, I thought it was rough. I really thought it was rough. And I loved the runway. I really did. I love the wigs when they're done like that. And I'll pop it back up again. That the way that they style them. I love the webbed fingers. I love the color. But she really did a good job with the look. And the theme for the runway was sea sickening. Was the theme of the actual runway.
I love the theme.
Yeah.
As someone who loves marine biology and just aquariums and just sea life, I'm I love this. It's one of my. Why didn't they do this before?
Yeah,
it's a great category.
Chucky Chuck thinks that her runway should have saved her. Do you think her runway should have saved her?
Well, I always think that it's always performance is the most important thing. I always say that. Yeah. So No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
because I'm like looking. Okay, who would have replaced? The only person I can think of possibly replacing Art would have been Ketamine.
Yeah.
I would have put maybe her, but even then, I don't. She recovered. She at least had like one funny thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I don't mind sometimes the Runway saving somebody, but they have to be like in my opinion, to be saved by the look, you have to be on the fence. Like there has to be, it kind of has to be like a mid-level performance where you're like, okay, you had a mid-level performance, but you have a great runway, you're saved. If you're in the bottom for Snatch Game, you're in the bottom for Snatch Game. I don't care if you come out in a $25,000 gown, like you're going to be lip syncing. In my opinion, that's my opinion. So that's interesting that my lips look like Jackie beat. I don't know that my lips are that big. Actually, even when I did my lips today, I thought, oh, they're not as big as I've been doing them lately. So no, I don't think they're that big. Jackie Beat's got some big old lips. All right, so next up is Ketamine. We were just talking about her. She did Dr. Seuss for Snatch Game, and here's her runway. I'll pop that up for you, Ollie, as a memory.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Thank you again, Dragalicious.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So I think in her case, like for sure, I guess I can't put her in the bottom because she also had a great runway and she recovered. I think that was probably one of my other favorites of the runway. Her, like she even said "sea bitch," so I loved it.
Yeah.
The icy looking octopus, the tentacles, like nailed it.
Yeah. I really like Ketamine. I really do. I like her personality. And I think, her runways have been good. Nothing, they're not bad, definitely not bad. You can tell that she's polished and she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I definitely like her personality too. Like she's definitely someone I want to see do well and go far. I hope she goes far. Yeah. She's in my top 4. So yeah. I love her little lisp. She has like a little lisp.
I know, me
or
too.
Something. I find those weird quirks just so like.
Me too. I'm the same exact way. I have accents and lisps, and I'm like, I'm sold. I'm an easy sell. All right, next up, I can't wait to talk about this one. Snatch Game in particular is etc. etc. I'll pop up her look for you as a reminder, Ollie. There's her undeceived. Thank you again, Dragalicious. I'll say it every time.
Oh, shout out to Dragalicious.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we starting? Should we start with the look first or the performance?
It's up. You're first, so you pick whatever you want.
Okay. Looks. I love this freaking look. This is my favorite look of the runway because whereas everyone tried to go like super sexy, which I love, like no, are you kidding me? I love sexiness. I love the seas, sexy Ursula, whatever, yada yada yada. I love that like it stood out. It was campy. She was a deep sea diver from like the 40s or whatever time period. And I think I follow her, so I saw like she even had like another look under it, maybe. I don't know, like if you saw it. So and I just love the way she paints. It's very like a classic face she has. So a part of me was bummed that she didn't get a critique at all. But I think she was safe because of her Snatch Game choice, because it is a very touchy topic with picking Lindy Chamberlain. Is that her name? Because I had to research her because I wasn't sure. I always heard the dingo ate my baby. I always heard that growing up. And I'm like, what is that from? Like what does that mean? Yeah. And so before I had to do that after the show, after I watched. So I was like, why isn't she in the top? Rob, her look is amazing. Her performance was good. Like, so I understand. I think that's why she was safe because they didn't want to talk about it, with her choice because it was very controversial. And I started looking up tweets. I'm like, oh, this did kind of rub people the wrong way. And that's very unfortunate. Like Lindy, who was, kind of lost her baby and then the media just like hounded her. So it does have like, I definitely look at the situation a little bit more. I still like love, etc. Like I think she's one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm glad I did some research before like the show today because it it's a very complicated topic to unpack, and it's very unfortunate because I'm rooting for her. I think she's really funny. She can turn like quirky things. She's one of a kind. So I almost wish she would have done someone else to see what she could do and put her spin on it. So yeah. Well, now I understand a little bit.
I agree with part of your assessment of et cetera, et cetera. I do really like et cetera, et cetera. I even have her picked as possible top 4. However, I have a different opinion about the runway. I just really thought, it was a jumper. Like, there was nothing other than the helmet. To me, I wanted it. If she would have just bedazzled it, made it, like, elevated it a little bit more, I would have been right there with you. Especially for the other looks that she's brought out, I just really wanted it to be a little more, stone that helmet. You know what I mean? Like, just really take it over the top, and I would be 1,000% with you. I still like her. I'm not going to trash her, but that's just my opinion. However, oh my God. Let me just tell anybody, if you ever want to go watch, it's called Blue Comedy, which is what, et cetera, and even Anita did a lot of blue comedy. This kind of really crude comedy. If you ever want to go to a show with that, please invite me, because this is my kind of humor. The moment et cetera started talking, I thought I was going to pee myself. It was one of the funniest things, and I didn't even know who she was, really. Like you said, I had to look it up later. Mm-hmm. But I was laughing so hard at her. I just thought it was so well done and so creative, such a creative choice, I just didn't like the runway though. I
loved it.
Necklace. It's a pearl necklace, yellow jumper, and brown boots. So I'm sorry that I had an issue with that.
I respect it. I love that we disagree. The show would be so boring if we were just like, oh yes, Lorayne. Oh yes, Ollie. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. It's so cool.
Chucky says Meryl Streep played Lindy Chamberlain in a movie called In the Dark. So now I got to go watch the movie.
I know. Now I'm like invested. I want to know more about her.
Was very deliberate and darkly hilarious. Yeah. It would have been hard to discuss on the runway. Well, Ru even says during Snatch Game, we're going to hell. So, they did at least somewhat acknowledge the fact that we were going into this dark place with this character, which I appreciated. I don't know. That to me is such funny stuff. Anytime, if you're a comic and you're like, oh, can I say this? Say it when I'm in the audience, because I will find it hysterical.
And I just think of also remember Boa, Canada? She did Gypsy Rose. So there's been past people doing controversial characters. I mean, Trixie, remember she didn't do it on the show, but her Snatch Game audition was Anne Frank. You remember that? Did you ever see
Yep.
She doesn't get hounded for that, so.
Yeah. I think I'm all for that kind of stuff. Sorry. I just think it. So Ken has a question. Let's just interrupt this real quick. We have a fan question. Do we think this season is going to be like UK season 1? Meaning Karen from finance is the name, she'll win, is a name, she'll win like the Vivian. Because she's a name, because Karen Finance is a name, do you think this is kind of a setup for Karen from Finance? I guess.
Yes.
You do?
Yes. From before the show started, yes, I do. Actually, shout out to Magenta. I saw your comment earlier. She said that Karen maybe should have been in the bottom this week.
Yeah.
I saw that. And so now I'm like, maybe she should have.
Yeah.
Because of her dolly was just so forgettable.
Yeah.
But we're not to Karen yet, but I'll talk about her look because beautiful.
Yeah. I think with Karen, it was she missed some opportunities to get some really good jokes. The accent was, I don't even mind that the accent wasn't that great. That doesn't bother me because if you're funny, it doesn't matter to me. I really think that Coco and Art were worse. I really do. I didn't. I get it. I know what you're saying. I know what they're saying in the chat that she should have been, but I don't know. All right, so I just mentioned Coco, so that's next up on the runway and performance. What did you think, Ollie, of Coco's performance?
Coco Jumbo as Lizzo. So sad. Like, I feel like Lizzo, yes, she's mainstream. I love Lizzo. And but Lizzo's a perfect character, I think, for Snatch Game. There's so much she can do. She has the flute. Like, she did bring out the flute. She can twerk. She's all about body positivity. She has major personality. And Coco Jumbo just didn't bring it. Shout out to her doing the Sailor Moon outfit.
Yeah.
That Lizzo actually wore and twerked in. But it was just so unfortunate. And I think her look was the Ursula, which I love Ursula.
There you go.
But
thank you again, Dragalicious.
We have seen Ursula before on the runway.
Well, and Kita's was a little Ursula as well. Just the colors were changed. I felt like Kita's was very similar to that, but
yeah, I definitely like Kita's more though.
Yeah, I do too. I think it was a little too literal almost. I almost felt like she was trying to do Ursula. And
it wasn't bad. Like, I love that wig. No. Seeing it up close, I'm like, oh, the wig, that has lots of detail in it. And her little shawl had the little tentacle looking things. But yeah, obviously, I don't think it was the worst look, but I feel like Ursula, now I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess it is kind of like the first thing you kind of think about if you're doing like a under the sea look for Drag Race, right?
Yeah. Chucky Chuck thinks it was bad. And also says that she should have been the bottom, but he feels bad for saying it. Magenta even says she's heartbroken for Coco. See, that's what I like. Again, we talked about this earlier in the show. I like that I like them. Even when they're doing bad, I like that I like them. I like that I'm still rooting for you to win a lip sync for your life when you've been in the bottom. Like that to me is such better TV. I hope that they're learning from this. I really, truly do. All right. Next up is Anita Wigl'It. I mean, that performance, come on.
Did you like it or did you not like it? I can't tell.
I literally loved it. Her and etc. to me, like when she it's just the crude humor, the way where she took it. She didn't even look like Anita Wigl'It. She looked like, I don't know that she necessarily looked like Queen Elizabeth II. But she looked like a completely different human being. It was so good.
I think she did good. I think she should have won. I also did like Etcetera's performance despite everything. So I just think my critique for Anita is that it's easy to make I think an old lady that's crude is a very easy character to do, but maybe that's a good thing. Like, go for that old lady crude character because I think of it just reminded me so much of UK1 with Blues. Amazing performance. I just saw Blues of the lady from what was it? Great British Bake Off. That was literally Blues performance. So that's all I really saw. She did great, but obviously, I like people picking creative, memorable things etc. I don't know. She did great nonetheless.
I'm surprised that nobody in England has done Queen Elizabeth yet, because I always thought wouldn't that be a great one to do? I think it was kind of the juxtaposition of being the queen who wouldn't say these things, but saying these things. Like saying, maybe she does say them, behind closed doors, but to say them out loud in the Snatch Game, I thought it was brilliant. What did you think of her Anita's runway?
Not my favorite. I don't know. Did you like it?
I know. What I do love is Dragalicious for providing these photos. Um,
I don't want people to think I'm hating on Anita. It seems like I'm like, I hate Anita. I don't hate her, but I don't know.
okay. It wasn't like, if it was based on the look, no, she wouldn't have won the runway. I just think her performance was so strong, it didn't matter what she came out in, she was going to win.
Yeah, to me, she just seemed like she had it, like this was her week. Like it made perfect sense to give it to her.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate the look. I liked the hair, kind of like, almost looked windblown. It was well done. It was well done, definitely, Oh yeah, Blue did Mary Berry. That's
Mary
right.
Berry, 1 in the pink, 2 in the stink, or something like that. Like,
yep. Yeah. Next up, Electra Shock on the runway, and she did Catherine O'Hara. She played Moira Rose.
Yes.
Copywritten character. So she played Catherine O'Hara doing Moira Rose. And then here's her runway as a reminder to you, Ollie. From courtesy of Dragalicious.
We love you, Dragalicious. I know it doesn't automatically read as under a seasickening. So I'm trying, but I think she looked beautiful. I think she really did look beautiful, but it was unfortunate. Like her look was like, it needed to be explained. Like as soon as I heard sea foam, I heard I'm the waves. Like, okay, I was like, okay, I got it. But obviously like next to everyone else, her look doesn't scream like the seasickening, but her performance. I loved it.
See, I felt like it took her a while to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
The voice wasn't spot on, but she at least got the tenor of the Moira Rose voice, I loved when she crossed out the answer and replied with the correct one. Mm-hmm. And then, because it's such a Moira Rose thing to do, like, no, I didn't. Like, you're lying. I would never do that. Like, I thought it was good. I thought she did a great job. I felt like, this is the, like, it's not a bad runway look. It's just, you wanted it to be a little more creative. I loved the color of the hair.
Mm-hmm, same.
And it's probably one of her best gowns. It was very middle of the road for me. Very middle of the road. Mm-hmm. Although Chuck thinks it was horrible.
I guess it just needed a little bit more of the sea reference, a little bit more oceaniness. I don't know, throw some seashells or something on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed her performance. I really enjoyed her performance because it was just so kooky and a hot mess, which Moira Rose is. Yeah. I wanted her to change wigs. I don't know why I just want people to change wigs, but that's such a Moira Rose thing. When I loved when she screamed Kevin. So I definitely think she was, yes.
I loved it. And I said this after the last week's episode. I said, because it's Snatch Game, I really didn't think Electra would go home, because I do feel like one of her strengths is improv and performance, aspect of it. I mean, we saw her lip sync for her life and she nailed it. So I think anytime it's going to be that kind of a thing, she's going to do fairly well.
Yeah. And that's how you remain on the show. It's your performance.
Yeah. For sure. Karen from Finance did Dolly Parton for Snatch Game, and then here's her reminder of her runway. Thank you, Dragalicious.
I loved her shark outfit so much. I thought, to me, that was my favorite look. Like, I think now that art is gone, sorry, spoilers. You saw this episode. Yeah. I think Karen's going to be the one to watch with the looks. I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. It's just a shame that like I said earlier, her performance in Snatch Game, I can't even recall. I watched the episode yesterday. I can't recall anything that she did as Dolly. Yeah. Anything. Like I can't even think. I can think of even things that Coco said. Yeah. But looking back, they also barely showed her.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, maybe if Karen's set up as the winner, which I'm totally fine with, maybe that's why they didn't put her in the bottom. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just putting it out there. Theory.
Could be. We don't know how they think, but yeah.
But her look, I loved it.
Her look, I mean, come on. Let's look at this again.
The earrings.
Everything. The fact that that mouth comes down and was like, even when it laid down, when it was off of her head, it looked absolutely stunning. Stunning. Oh, loved it.
She was like, she almost like when you took it down, she was like the tongue. Yeah. It was just so, oh God, beautiful.
Gabe says he sees Karen as the Aussie Lawrence Chaney. That's a good comparison, definitely. I can see that. I can definitely see that. And then last but not least, Scarlett Adams, who you mentioned earlier, played Jennifer Coolidge.
Mm-hmm.
We can discuss this now because I know you had thoughts on her Jennifer Coolidge.
Okay. Well, I guess like at first I was like, okay, is Rue gonna hate that she's doing Jennifer Coolidge? Because remember, Tina Burner got red for Phil for doing Jennifer Coolidge or attempting to.
But when she did it in the workroom, I mean, it sounded bad. Like it didn't even sound like Jennifer Coolidge. So I think that was more Rue's point. I don't think it would matter if it was Jennifer Coolidge. It just needed to be on. I thought Scarlett sounded like her.
Yes. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. Jennifer Coolidge is this beautiful, hilarious, funny, plus size, larger than life personality. And I looked at Scarlett. Yes, she sounded like her, but I just, that's all I just saw Scarlett. I don't know. I didn't care for it personally.
It was okay. You know what's so funny is when I'm posting on social media and preparing stuff for the show, a lot of times I'm going by memory. I'm not exaggerating that I keep forgetting about Scarlett. And I hate to say that because I do think that she's good, but she's always, when I count the names, I go, wait, I'm missing somebody. Almost every time it's Scarlett. And I don't know why, because I do like her. And I liked the look. I didn't love the look. Here, I'll pop her look up for you because you didn't talk about that. Thank you again, Dragalicious. She was the coral reefs in Australia. What did you think of her look?
I think Scarlett's a queen that I'm going to be a fan of her looks, but her performances, this is predictions. I just don't care for her performances so far. I thought that look was stunning. I have to give her credit where credit is due. That look was beautiful. The detail, I love that she did shout out the coral reefs and how it's important to like raise awareness that they're dying. They're dying. They're one of the seven natural wonders of the world, and they're beautiful, gorgeous aquatic environments for fish and our little octopus friends. So yeah, that look was just beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what is in my I'm sorry. I normally wouldn't touch my face this much, but something is bothering my face. Sorry for everybody who's watching me touch my face. Something's there. I really liked the look again, but you know me, I like to point out inconsistencies, and she is wearing a leotard. Granted, there is a headpiece and, extravagant stuff added to it, but for the record, Michelle did not comment on the fact that she's wearing a leotard. So my job is to point these things out. That is it. I liked it. Again, it was very middle of the road for me, her performance and the runway. But yeah. And one more that not one of the, that was all the queens from the show. But I also wanted to pop this one up because I thought Rue looked amazing. Love the look. Love that dress. If that's missing from her dressing room, don't check Lorraine Love's closet.
No, she really did look amazing. Michelle looked amazing, and I do want to shout out Michelle last week looked amazing. I forget if I said, but she had her little. Do you remember her look from last week? I was like, oh my God, Michelle looks so good.
Yay.
Oh, yeah. Is that, you don't agree?
She did look good. No, she did look good. I just saw a message in the chat that congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Oh. Yay! Congratulations.
Oh, we skipped someone. Magenta. She said we didn't do Maxi.
Oh, Maxi. Oh, that's right. Oh, she's on my list. I did jump over Maxi. I'm so sorry. All right, so let me grab Maxi. What did you think of Maxi's performance? I don't even know who that, I mean, I know the name, but I didn't know who she was. I thought her performance was really good. Like they said, almost too good because she kind of forgot to play the game. But here's her look for you.
Okay, so I guess like seeing it up close, courtesy of Dragalicious, I'm like, okay, I see more of the C references into it, but like from far away, which I saw on screen when I was watching it, I was like, where's the C reference? So I guess I didn't get the perspective of Dragalicious. So it just looked very flapper to me, but now, okay, I see it a little bit more now looking close. Not one of my favorites of this week. I wish they showed her more in Snatch Game.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like she did good, but like she was very undermined by like, I don't know, it was editing, but they barely showed her and she did great. Like, I don't know, maybe she didn't give enough funny little sound bites. I don't know, but like she's definitely someone along with like Karen we didn't see a whole lot in this episode. So I was disappointed. And they made a big deal, I feel like, with her too about they showed her how she's like, oh, I don't want people to know because of my character, because then when they see the outfit, they're going to automatically know. So I was disappointed they barely showed her.
Yeah, Chuck's comment, I'm assuming he's talking about Maxi, because this kind of came up when you were talking about Maxi's look. You know, again, when you look at it in photos, like you said, Ollie, when I saw the photo, and I sometimes would get up and get closer to my TV for the runways, once I got up close, I saw it more. It was just white on white on white. It's sometimes hard to see the details. So I think that's where it was. Magenta even says that she thought
Magda was...
Magenta said that Maxi's Magda was spot on perfection. So, yeah.
They just didn't show her. I'm just like, why didn't you show her? Then Snatch Game.
Snatch Game more? Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So when it came down to it, Anita, is this my computer that I'm getting sound back from? Am I echoing to you?
Not really. You sound normal.
Okay. I'm hearing myself back, so I don't know where that's coming from. What was I saying? Oh, so Anita was the hands down winner. She didn't even pull the top three. She said, Anita, you're the winner. Hands down winner. Kita and etc. were safe. And all the others were in the bottom. It ended up being Art versus Coco Jumbo, Art Simone versus Coco Jumbo in A Lip Sync for Your Life, to I'm That Bitch by RuPaul. I guess, well, first let me say, do you think Coco won the lip sync?
Yes, absolutely. And going into it, I was like, Coco's going home. During Snatch Game, like, oh God, Coco's going home. There's no way Art's going to go home. But this seems like this competition this season seems, we're not taking any prisoners with the performances. Coco killed it. She was moving. She was embodying that song. That song was perfect for her. Art was performing, but like not to the level of Coco, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Coco definitely deserved the win. I don't know. Do you think that maybe Art kind of had the mentality of, I am who I am, they're not going to send me home, and held back?
Maybe. She's a huge name. She was crushed. She was crying. She's like, I'm never going to live this down. And I was, girl, yes, you are. You already won getting on this damn show. Are you kidding me? Biggest stage of them all for drag performance. So I don't know. Of course, I would have liked her to stay. She was bringing the drama. I loved her looks. I also thought, like, in this episode, I'm like, wow, out of drag, Art's looking good. I don't know. I'm like, So, just a slight crush. So I'm a little sad, but also I love Coco. So I didn't want to see her go. And I think Coco deserves to stay on that lip sync.
Well, somebody in the chat also commented that if they would have sent Coco home, it would have been the first two episodes, the first two POCs. So I don't know that. I honestly don't know that that is something that is in Ru's head, at least. Maybe the producers, but interesting, needless to say. Yeah, Art's reaction. See, this is what I'm saying is like, and maybe, Magenta, you can tell me too. I mean, she seemed like when the producers said to her, "Well, you made it on the show." And what did she say? That's not enough, or that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pissed. I mean, it reminded me of Alaska on her All-Star season when she flips out and is like, "I'll give you $10,000 not to send me home." And that to me was like, it's like this temper tantrum, and I was just like, really? So again, it's not helping me change my opinion about her that I have, authentically. So I don't know.
I'm like, yeah, I feel like the temper tantrum was a little unnecessary because she was already a name without Drag Race, so she's like, I'm never going to be able to live this down. I'm like, yes, you are. You already have such a huge fan base. People are going to want to work with you now that you've been on the show. This is great. Who knows for an All-Stars for you? Like, she would be great for All-Stars because she can finally redeem herself. Yes, I've gone episode 2, but like, she can show off those looks she didn't get to show off. So I'm like, girl, you got your career still intact. You got this. Don't even front. So
yeah, absolutely. Bow and Arrow's in the chat. She hasn't watched the show yet, but she wanted to step in and say hello. If you don't follow her on social media. That's our drag sister.
Love you.
There was something else here. I showed Chucky Chucks, like, if you do bad, you lip sync. If you do bad, you go home. Like, I agree. That should be the case. Told the producers it didn't count that she got there. Right. That's what she said. It doesn't count or something that she got there. Gabe, I also thought, of course, Art could not be sent home no matter what, but also they couldn't have sent home to, another person saying, POCs. No, that particular song is not in Art Simone's wheelhouse. She does more campy, theatrical, humorous numbers. Okay, so maybe that was part of the reason why she didn't do. Thank you, Magenta. We can always count on our Magenta girl. That means nothing. That's what she said. Thank you, Salva. That means nothing. That's what she said. That means nothing. And Magenta says that the Melbourne queens are going to rip her apart. And that could be part of the reason why she was so upset, is she knew she was going to get, she knows when it airs, people are going to be like, girl, you went home second. There are times definitely where I think people that go home first, second, third, sometimes it's kind of like they should. But I feel like even especially earlier seasons of Drag Race, I felt like they were all good. Like, you know what I mean? Look at Pork Chop. You know what I mean? Like, right. Look at Shangela. These were all still good queens.
Yeah.
And talented. It's just that somebody has to go home first.
Right.
Now, the American version at least, it's more of, okay, well, let's cast 3. You know what I mean? So we have people to send home early. And then let's cast 6 more really good ones. You know what I mean? Like, kind of their mentality.
And like I always think of like someone who doesn't get enough credit. It was like James Mansfield, who went home first. I was crushed when she went home first in season 9. I love her. I still love her. And she's done so many amazing things with her YouTube channel. And it's all about what you do with the show afterwards. Like, just keep working. Don't like let what other people, you just got to stop caring what people think about you. And obviously if you're on a TV show and you go home second or first, whatever, just like work, keep doing you, like find your niche and just show people, like prove people wrong,
Right. Chucky Chuck's asking me if I think because Snatch Game was so bad, that Ru's going to challenge the queens again in another Snatch Game later in the season. Ooh, I can't imagine they would do that because they would have to then do another character, which they probably weren't told to bring two characters. I don't know. I can't imagine they would do it. What do you think?
Hell no, but wouldn't that be a twist? That would be insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god. A Snatch Game was so bad. We're gonna restart, pick it up, take two.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What that would be a gag. That they could have done that in maybe season 13. They had the time for it, but
right. I know, exactly.
But you know what? Last thing I will say about the Snatch Game, I like that. Yes, a lot of the queens, I should say, weren't that funny. Let's be real. But I liked how they edited it nonetheless. That like it wasn't like harshly edited.
Yes.
Like when the jokes didn't land, it wasn't like
wah, wah, wah.
Right. Yeah. You know, so it wasn't like kicking the queens when they're down. Like especially with Coco Jumbo, because I was just like waiting for it to laugh. But it just felt like less cringeworthy.
Right. Agreed. Again, I think because, sometimes, I don't know, I think they're not trying to direct the narrative as much as they do for the American, too. So 8 queens remain. 2 have gone home now. Next week, the queens have to work together as they debut the brand new Drag Race anthem, Queens Down Under. And it looks like they're in pairs or groups because it looks like there's some tension between Elektra and Kita. In the trailer or the teaser. So we'll see. If there's something we didn't talk about that you guys want to know, write it in the chat now. We'll try and get back to it as we get through this last part of the show, which is our special segments. So some of the mirror moments, we talked a little bit about Anita and Kita saying that her personality is a lot of a coping mechanism. She talked a lot about her relationship with her father and got kind of emotional. And then they all talked about whether their parents are supportive or not. And I do think that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference in how a person carries themselves if they, have been accepted by the people that they grew up with, What did you think of those moments?
Yeah, they were nice. Mm-hmm. But like I will say, one, like I always say this, like even if the parents aren't accepting, and that gives room for a queer person to find like their chosen family. And that's like what I've definitely learned with some of my queer friends and those who haven't been so lucky. So, your family is always at the end of the day who you choose.
Right. Agreed.
So there's the silver lining. If like your biological family doesn't accept you, you can find your tribe, your family, ultimately at the end of the day. And I think they're both valid families too, I will say.
Correct. Absolutely. And I have a very loving, supportive, amazing family back home. But when you're, 2,500 miles away, I can obviously phone and text and stuff, but my friends here, you guys from the show, I text, way more than I probably text a lot of my family. So, there's something to be said about that chosen LGBTQ family. And I think that it is an important conversation that the show is having, And then the only other thing was in the Untucked, we got the message from Dani Minogue. Which was more words of encouragement and advice for the queens. They got to talk to her and ask questions and stuff like that. I'm not as familiar. I know who Dani Minogue is. I'm not as familiar with her music or anything. Did you enjoy Dani? I don't know if you're a fan.
I'm more of a Kylie Minogue fan. But Dani was nice. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was nice for her to come in for the queens who are probably just scared shitless because remember, it was so dramatic. You're all up for elimination. So I hopefully that lessened the tension in the Untucked room.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias, who I love that you have that name. That's amazing. It says it's 2 groups of 4 next week. So
okay.
Thank you for letting me know that. All right. So my quote of the week this week. Hold on. I wrote down 2. Okay. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to give it to the winner of Snatch Game, Miss Anita Wigl'It, when in her answer to Ru, she says she gave Megan Markle advice to Keys to a Long Life. And she said, don't piss me off and wear a seatbelt. I almost peed myself. That was funny. All right. So fans of the week. There were quite a few. I picked people from last week's review that commented on the review, our YouTube review. So Let It Be Written from YouTube said, thank you guys so much for doing this. I do feel that since I'm Australian but living in London, RuPaul's Drag Race has done its best to make me happy this year with UK2 and Down Under. Yes, they're doing it just for you.
Aw, that's sweet.
No, that's great. And yes, we're glad that you guys are here and enjoying this. That's why we do it. Also, a disco queen, Roro, Eva, Sylvester, Desmond Tanner, and Mambo and Jimmy all commented. We love Mambo and Jimmy too. I think they do a live reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Mambo and Jimmy, if you want to follow them, I think it's mamboandjimmytv.com or mamboandjimmytv.tv or something. If you want to watch them, they're fun. They're very big supporters of us, so we love them. Some news and gossip. I saw that there is a new karaoke drag queen show with some of your favorite Drag Race queens. Trinity was in there. Oh, now I'm drawing a blank. I meant to write them in here, and I'm drawing a blank. But I saw the ad. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. I think Vinegar Strokes was on it. But look for it because it's out there. It's a new. I'm guessing it's more like not World of Wonder Presents.
Oh, okay.
But just another thing.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it really looked really interesting. And I'm sorry I didn't write. I thought I went back and wrote that in. I didn't. There is also auditions for the new Drag Race singing competition, which we've talked about. So if you're a drag queen who sings live, go hunt that down. That information on submitting because. Now is your time to shine. Also, I wanted to tell you guys about, I have a really good friend. His name is Christian, who I've known for years and years and years. And we kind of reconnected the other day. And I just want to promote Mindy Cohen from The Facts of Life. If you are old like me, you know what The Facts of Life is. It was a sitcom back in the day. Mindy Cohen was on the show, but her and Christian do a Mondays with Mindy podcast, and she interviews a lot of fun and interesting people. And I watched it there. It's very short. It's only like 25, 30 minutes long. I interviewed Carney Wilson at Afterbuzz, and they did an interview with her. So I watched that. And then I watched another one. They did another one. Oh, it was somebody from Days of Our Lives. So they're different people, friends of Mindy's, people in the industry. But they were cute. And they play like 20 questions. They pull questions out of a hat. So if you're interested and you like Mindy Cohen or you want another podcast to watch, I highly recommend Mondays with Mindy. And I think that's what it is on social media, Mondays with Mindy. So there was some more Tamisha and Monet stuff going on. Do you want to fill everybody in, Ollie? Do you remember?
All I know is that, like, God, what a week it's been. All I know is that Tamisha ended up doing a live show at Candy. And so they squashed it, which is good. And I think Tamisha's going to do more shows with other queens of color, such as like Dita Ritz and Vixen. And but also I think she's trying to get a show or do it maybe like a sibling rivalry with Bob. And so honestly, ultimately, I love all of these queens, by the way. And I just hope that they work it out. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you want to elaborate more, but that's kind of like the summary of it. So I don't think Tamisha's still angry with Monet.
Yeah.
I think the main issue, I already addressed this, is that the fans just need to calm down and stop, just calm down. If you don't want to watch Tamisha's show, just don't watch it. Don't tell her what to do.
Well, I'll say this, if you love Tamisha like I do, and you have the extra money and you want to go watch her channel, do it. That's what it's there for. She's doing her own thing. That's what, part of doing Drag Race is that you kind of take that platform and go do your own thing. So she's doing her own thing, whether you like it or not. I'm glad that her and Candy sat down and had a conversation. I obviously couldn't watch it because, then that would entail me watching Candy for however long. So
Shade.
See, it had nothing to do with Down Under. But, again, support Tamisha if you want to support. Buy her merch if you want to, do all that stuff. It's your opinion. Just don't go out and, yelling at people because they do. Everyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to them. Again, if you want to watch my interview with Karen from Finance from DragCon 2019, that link will be in the descriptor of YouTube. Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias, what are your thoughts on the conspiracy theory that RuPaul wasn't there for Down Under? It's all over TikTok. Well, I will say this. She was there. I know she was there.
Yeah, she had to be there. I'm interested. I love conspiracies, but she had to because she's in the workroom.
Yeah, she's there. Trust me, she's there. She was there. She was there. I'm sorry to ruin your conspiracy theory, but she was there. Let's just say Monet had some choice words for Miss Iman. Yeah. All right. Prediction, Ollie. Who's next to go home?
Oh my gosh. I honestly didn't even think about this, but I think off the top of my head.
Well, what's the challenge? Wait, what's the challenge? Singing group performance.
Oh, I don't even know which one's the singer and who's. Do you have an idea first? I have to think.
I do, but I'm only basing mine on because of what the show is telling me. So I think it's Coco Jumbo.
Okay.
Just because they've been really playing her down.
Mm-hmm.
She has an amazing turnaround. That's my guess. That's a complete guess. That's only because, she's been in the bottom.
I can see that. For another one I might throw out would maybe be Maxi, because I feel like we're just not seeing enough of her. And when that happens, it doesn't give me hope for that queen when we don't see a whole lot of them. So I can see either one of those, Jumbo or Maxi, maybe in potential danger.
Yeah, they have kind of hid Maxi in the back. I hope she doesn't go home soon. I really hope she stays longer. I hope we do get to see more of her because I really do like her a lot. All right. I was popping up our social media stuff during the show. I made little things, so you guys should have seen our social media handles and stuff. As a reminder, I do this when we do the other podcast, but when we started, Ollie, I asked who you thought the top 4 were going to be. As a reminder, your top 4 were Kita, Karen, Art, and Anita. Mine was Kita, Karen, Art, and etc. So we both have one that is not in the top 4.
Are you going to replace yours? Replace Art?
Well, if I did, I would, I had said my personal dream was Maxi to the final.
Mm-hmm.
You also said Coco and etc. that you liked both of them as a personal favorite. So we'll just use our personal favorites to fill in those slots.
Gotcha.
Maybe, I thought about afterwards too, is maybe Scarlett, even though I keep forgetting about her, they seem to really like her.
Yeah.
So maybe she will go further than I think. Just because she's not standing out for me, and maybe something down the road will make her stand out more to me. But that's an option.
Yeah, just not the biggest Scarlett fan. That's all. But yeah, I would put etc. instead of Art.
Yeah. Gabe thinks his bottom 2 prediction, one of our fans watching, Gabe says his bottom 2 prediction for next week is Coco and Maxi in the group challenge. So we will see. We will see who's right tomorrow or next week. So Mondays at 3:00, me and Ollie will be here recapping each episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under inaugural season. Ollie, tell everybody where they can find you on these social media.
Yes, guys, you can find me on all the social medias, all of them at Ollie Dreamer.
Yes. And you can find me at Lorayne Love, LORAYNE LOVE, as long as you're spelling it right. I'm pretty easy to find. And also, please don't forget to follow DRTVLA, which is our social media handle. Follow us on Twitch if you're on Twitch. Give us a follow. We're still learning Twitch, but thank you to those of you who were on Twitch and joined the conversation. It made me so happy that my hard work is paying off when I'm just playing on my computer every day, trying to make the show better for everybody. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Ollie. I love you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Love you too. Of course.
And we will be back next Monday at 3:00, like clockwork, unless something comes up, because Ollie is a schoolboy. So sometimes we might have to change, which is why you need to follow our social media, because if we do change it, that's where you're going to find the answers to when we're at. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love you. Mwah. Thank you to everybody who joined the chat. Magenta, Chucky Chuck, Gabe, Luis Manuel. Oh my gosh, let me just say a couple more of these names because I know there were more people in here. Ken was there. Salva, that's right, our other Aussie, Salva was in there. Thank you guys for joining us live. We will be back next week. Thank you all. Love you. Toodles. Bye.